Evening and hello everyone. This is Stan with Stan the Coach back from COVID. Uh, well, hopefully back. We are back in Studio C and Z right here. We got Coach Ennis over in Studio C, and I'm in Studio Z. We had some mandates, and we didn't want to wear a mask, so here we are. Coach,
I'm on
how's it
mine.
been going? It's been a long time, actually almost a year since we've actually got a chance to talk, and we're going to talk some 1A football tonight from this past season and kind of look at next season. How's it been going?
It's been going well. Between the COVID and other incidences, we've been trying to make it. It ain't been easy, but we're gonna make it.
Well, I know I've focused a lot of my attention to rec league sports with my younger kids, and I know your son played his first year in the rec leagues, and I believe his team won the Super Bowl. He probably have a Super Bowl ring coming his way.
I don't know about a ring, but they did win the championship. Yeah, they had a really good year. I think I don't know. They probably played. I think they played 180 games. Um,
Every Saturday, all day,
yeah, Yeah, I think they played 180. Might have been 2,000. Um, but,
and they weren't close by either.
no. We went to some school down in Florida, and I think we did. We drove past the school, and Castro's brother ended up giving me directions to get to the school. And
Yeah.
we ended up going back to it and getting there on time and everything. But no, he had a really good time. But now he had some really good coaches um, on his team. He had Mitch Thorne help me out here, and
That's Sean Jackson.
they had Sean Jackson and um,
Mitch Thorne was one of the
yeah,
coaches, and
Mitch Thorne, and I can't believe Corey Bryant.
mm-hmm.
He was one of them, and Corey's gonna be mad at me. That's all right. But they did a really good job, um, and the thing I liked that they did, instead of yelling and screaming all the time, they actually taught these boys some fundamentals of football, instead of just yelling and screaming the whole time. And it really helped. It really did.
Well, I know if you were teaching me, I'd probably do a whole lot better if you didn't yell and scream at me just to be yelling and screaming.
Yeah, Stan, I've told this story before. When I was coaching at Wayne State College, um, I had a player that had spent two, uh, I guess, stints in the military, and when he got out, he came to school on GI Bill and decided he wanted to play football. He was married, had a family, going to school and playing football, and we were about the same age. And one day after practice, he came and knocked on my door and said, "Coach, can I talk to you for a minute?" I said, "Sure." So he came in and sat down, and he said, "I just want you to know, I understand, that yelling and screaming is a motivating tool. I was in the military, so I understand that." He said, "But I just want you to know, at no point in time do we ever come in the dressing room and sit down and say, 'Let's see how bad we can piss off Coach Ennis today.'" He said, "If you'll tell us what you want, we'll do the best we can make that happen. And I mean, it really did change the way I coached.
Well, that's what we're going to get a chance to talk a little football. We're going to talk some 1A football tonight. We're going to recap Class 1A last season, Region 1. We
But
got some,
there's little
some,
changes there.
yeah, they're going to be in Region 2 next year in a 9-team region, and we'll cover that after we recap it. But in that region, you had Brantley, who finished 1, Kinston, first time in the history of football, they hosted a playoff game. They finished 2, and they
Listen,
won a playoff game at
I
home.
have I have been telling everybody since Coach Free got there that if they'd give that man time, he can build a good program, and he's proven I was telling the truth.
Mm. And then the third seed was Sampson, who will move back up to 2A. And the fourth seed was McKenzie. And rounding out that region was 3 Covenant County schools in Red Level, Florella, and Pleasant Home in that order. And so I hate to say that region is a little top heavy because they had Brantley. Uh, but it was a surprise with Kinston. And like you said, you've been saying that for a couple of years. Give him time, give him time. And I think we're going to find out more about them next year because I think they had a ton of seniors graduate. So,
They did, but I'm gonna tell you the one thing about Rudy is he does a great job in the weight room, and you know, in high school football, it's not the 5-star players that win you games. It's those guys that get out there and work hard and play hard for their coach that wins the games. And Rudy does a great job doing that.
well, we're going to start with Pleasant Home, Coach. We're going to review Pleasant
Wow.
Home. They got a new coach down there, Coach Jeremy Silcox. He took over for I can't remember that guy's name. It was we had a lookalike one night, and he was a John Goodman lookalike. So
I can't believe you forgot his name. I mean, he had such a profound stint down there.
well, he did, and I think he may have retired or moved on. Also, I left Georgiana out of that mix too, Coach. I forgot Georgiana was in
And
that bunch.
Georgiana's gonna have. They've got a new coach.
That was Coach Bess. Is that right?
Yeah,
Well, we'll find out. I got them. I got Pleasant Home right here, Coach. I could see it a lot better if I had my glasses. Uh, they finished 1-9.
yeah.
They beat Georgiana second game of the season, and was competitive though over their last 4 games. They did, however, graduate 12 seniors. Uh, you know, Pleasant Home's going to consistently struggle with numbers uh, as far as quality. When I say quality, I'm talking about quality players
Look,
at every position.
they're gonna struggle with speed.
Yeah, well,
Uh,
that's a nice way of putting it.
yeah, they're gonna struggle with speed. You know, historically, Pleasant Home has been very big and very slow. And in today's game, that's not a real good combination.
No, you reckon they keep the grass high down there at Pleasant Home?
No, listen. that field is nice. They've got, from what I understand, they've got like 15 or 20 head of sheep that come through there, and they just nip the tops of it off, and they keep it down. I mean, it's like a golf green out
Well, I have to go see them sheep then.
there. It's a sight to behold.
I
They
bet
turn them
you.
loose twice a day, and they just get in a straight line and go across, and then they come back, and they put them up, and they do it again that afternoon, and they do. You know, sheep just kind of just nip at the top right there,
Yeah.
and they just
Well, that's about how Coach Silcock's first season went. He nipped it. I tell you what, he has got those kids down there believing. I've had a chance to talk with him, and he's fully invested in Pleasant Home, and uh, he is very positive and a good role model for those kids down there. But you know, it's like you said, size and speed. Hopefully, they're not five wide trying to chunk it everywhere.
that wouldn't be advisable. But
No.
hey, the one thing that Pleasant Home has always had is good, tough, hardworking kids, and I really believe if they could get somebody down there that would commit to Pleasant Home and commit to be there for an extended period of time, so that they could build a program and get a good established weight program and off-season program going. I think Pleasant Home could. I really do. I believe they're a diamond in the rough. Uh, and, and and look, they could do the same thing at Pleasant Home that Coach Free did at Kinston.
And those are two big rivals as well. So, which we'll look at that as we look at kind of a preview when we preview the region changes. But they're, I don't want to say they're always saying they're rebuilding, but Coach Silcock's laying the foundation down there. And I think you hit the nail on the head. He is probably going to be there as long as they'll let him stay. And so, because he cares about Pleasant Home, he cares about those kids. Next team up, Coach Georgiana. You spent a month there one night years
I
ago,
did. I did.
and
I
they
was there with Coach Shane Wasden. Uh,
um,
we had a couple of pretty good football teams there.
well, they graduated a lot the year before, and they went 0-10 this year. Had to play a lot of young kids. Look at their roster, a lot of eighth and ninth graders on that. And
Listen,
if you got to play a bunch of eighth and ninth graders, a varsity schedule, that does not bode well in the
well,
wins and losses.
they and they did. I've talked to a couple of coaches down there at Georgiana, and Coach Burleson, and Coach Burleson told me he said we're very very young and inexperienced, and that doesn't make for a good combination. But I'll tell you what they did. They started some of those seventh, eighth, and ninth graders, and when I say some, I mean at most positions they had seventh, eighth, and ninth graders, and it was they lived and died with them this year. And typically, when you have a one or a two A school that does that, um, it doesn't take but just a couple of years, and those tenth graders are playing like seniors.
Yeah. Well, they only graduated six seniors off last year's team, and they had a new coach. It was kind of a hired at the last minute. Coach Barry Bess took over, so he's got a year with those kids, and he'll get to have him a spring if they do a spring, and hopefully get every kid out over in Georgiana because traditionally basketball wise, very strong. If you can get some of those guys that can play basketballs, and they can help you out tremendously.
Athletes help.
Yeah, and hopefully they can erase that 0-10 Georgiana, because that's just like it all the small schools like that uh, they go through those cycles. And heck, I remember going through a cycle, was in the spin cycle at Florella, and we were still spinning, and
That
we couldn't play Dad in the John Wayne movie.
that wasn't a cycle. That was a drought.
uh, that
There
that
was
was
there was no water to be found in Florella.
yeah,
Lake Jackson was dry.
yeah, it was tough, but they're in kind of a middle phase right now. Next team we're going to look at, Coach, is I can find them. McKenzie. I'm sorry,
No,
not McKenzie. Florella. Going right to Florella. Got finished 3-7. Did not make the playoffs, which they did the year before. They were not consistent at all last year.
well, I'll go out on a limb and say that they'll probably follow suit this year too.
Yeah, well they graduated. Let's see, 5 seniors. They were rather young themselves. They did beat Georgiana, Red Level, and Pleasant Home. They beat the folks they had to beat, but they struggled with everybody else. Their non-region games were Houston Academy, Providence Christian, and Houston County.
I, who I'd be upset with whoever made that schedule.
Yeah, that had 2 Dothan's private schools, and Houston County will be going into that region this year. So, uh, Florella's another one of those. Coach Littleton, this will be his 3rd year down there. He came out like gangbusters first year, fell off a little bit this year. Still, it's going to be I'm afraid, another tough year in that region.
Well, I don't see things changing in Florella. I wish them well, but I don't see a whole lot changing this year.
No, I'll tell you one team that did come on at the end of the year, Coach. We're going to look at Red Level. Coach Skipper over in Red Level. Now, all these records I got from the Alabama High School Athletic Association. So I don't know if they're. I don't want to be spreading fake news or anything like that. That's where I got these.
We'll
Uh,
get canceled.
yeah, I don't want to get canceled before we even get started back up real good. Uh, but they finished 4-5, and they came on and won their last 2 ball games to end their season. So they had a little momentum uh, there. And but I tell you one thing I would do, which I know why they played them, is to make a little money. They open the season with Strawn.
Well,
And
Strong and Red Level used to be a big rival,
back
and
when they were about the same size schools.
well, and look, I don't have a problem with schools playing a couple of classifications above them. Um, I think you can look at it 2 ways. One, it kind of gives you a little measuring stick there, and 2, it helps you play up to your competition. You know, I'd put Strawn and Brantley right there in that same class as far as quality football teams. And with Brantley being in your area, that just gives you another chance to play another good quality team.
Right. Well, they were competitive in the McKenzie game. It was close. Kinston got them pretty good. Florella edged them out by 2 scores. They did beat Pleasant Home and beat JF Shields to end the season. So that was some uh, good scheduling right there by Coach Skipper. Have Shields on that schedule,
It
and they
was.
only had 4 kids graduate. So he's got most of his team coming back, and I think you're gonna see them make a run at one of them playoff spots next
I
year.
think so. You know that those 4 spots that's going to be in that particular region is they're not just going to hand those out. You're going to have to work for
No. Uh, Next up, finished fourth in that region was McKenzie, and Coach uh, Luker over at McKenzie. They finished 6-3. That's Coach Drew Luker. You know a few of those guys over there at McKenzie. I believe you know Coach Coughlin. I don't know if any of them other guys were there when you went through there, but they have one kid that they say is a heck of an athlete that will still be back. I can't.
they do. His name is Bo. Can't remember Bo's last name, but Bo plays running back. He's a really good athlete, really good running back. From what I understand, he's getting some looks from some D1 schools, um, and deservedly so. Um, but you know, McKenzie has had a history of really good running backs. You know, they've had all the Shufords that have come through there. They got this Bo coming through there. I wish I could remember his last name. Um, he's there.
Daniels.
I think that's it. I think that's it. And I believe that McKenzie has got a player right now. He's I think he's on West Virginia's. He plays for West Virginia right now. Um, he plays wide receiver at West Virginia. I'm pretty sure, unless he went in the portal and transferred, he should still be there. But you know, McKenzie's always got really good athletes. Um, the biggest problem they've had at McKenzie over the last few years is when they've had good running backs, the offensive line hadn't been real good, and when they've had good offensive linemen, the running backs have been a little shaky. So you know, I think right now they've got a good combination of both, and I wouldn't be surprised if they made a little run at it. Um, Coach Luker does a really good job up there. Coach Coughlin is one of the best coaches I've ever coached with, as far as knowledge of the game and getting the kids to play hard. Coach Coughlin is one of the best.
All right, moving
And
on
that,
to the.
and that look, they still have that high quality H2O up there.
I figure that's what makes uh, motivates those kids right there. When they know they're gonna get that when they come off the field.
Yeah,
Uh,
absolutely. They
yeah,
still have it up there.
keep them
Um,
hydrated. You know, they won
yeah,
a state championship back in what 88, 89,
I think so.
somewhere around there. And when Coach Dower, the pirate,
Yes, yes. Dewar, Coach
Dewar, Dewar,
Coach
yeah, that's
Dewar.
right, Dewar. Uh,
Coach Dewar was coaching there, and They had all those Shufords playing.
They were something special.
I'm telling you, they had Mickey Jones uh, punted or kicked for them and played defense, and they had the Shufords. They were something to watch. Now they really were.
All right, next up made the playoffs there, the third seed in 1A Region 1 was the Sampson Tigers. Coach Jason Wombles. Uh,
Big Papa
finished
Puff.
finished 7-4. Uh, their losses were to Brantley, Cottonwood, Kinston, and their playoff game to Linden, which they played Linden tough.
Yeah,
Coach,
they
they
did.
lost 20-12. Lost a heartbreaker there to Kinston, 21-20. I think they got denied a 2-point conversion to end that ball game.
They did.
Uh, they lost a lot. They had 10 seniors off last year's team. Two of those guys are one of them's going to go play at Huntington. Another one's going to go on to play at Birmingham Southern. Now, when you talk about schools like that, that's not your SEC big D1 programs, but it's college football.
Well, Coach, I'm gonna tell you, I'm a big believer that these kids like that. The difference between them and the ones that do go D1 usually is nothing more than height.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Well,
they got they got the same heart, they got the same desire. The only difference usually is height and speed. Um, but sometimes, Pat Dye once said, "It's tough to measure a player on the hoof."
yeah.
And, I mean, and he's right.
Well, I know both those kids that going to further their careers, and they're good young men. Have had good, solid careers, high school careers. I think it, they fit in those type of programs. That's the kind of kids that they're looking for, and if they can hang in there, they'll have a good career in college.
Well, I hope so. I wish him the best.
All right, second seed out of that region, the Kinston Bulldogs, which we talked about them earlier, finished 8-4. I think that's the most wins in a season. Hosting a playoff game, winning a home playoff game. The only bad thing in the second round, they got to meet Sweetwater, who eventually was a state champion. But Coach Free, he he's got those guys going. Now they did. Uh, Somebody sent an email. Graduate 8 seniors off that bunch, but they do return their quarterback, who looks like SEC tight end. Is about 6'5", 200 at least 30 pounds. Kale Sumlin.
Yes.
He's probably going to have a chance to go play after he graduates. Not probably won't play quarterback, but he is an overall. He's an athlete.
Well,
Uh,
the one thing that Rudy, well, not the one thing, but one of the things that Rudy does is Rudy does a great job teaching these young men how to be men and how to play the game and um, how important your work ethic is. That's what Rudy I mean that's where he to me he's ahead of some of these other coaches. he does a great job of building these kids to where they can compete at a higher level. And and I'm just listen. I can't sing enough praises about Rudy. I think he's a great coach. More important than that, uh, Rudy's a great person. I would love for my son to have a chance to play under Rudy Free. I can tell you that, and that's about the highest compliment I can give.
Well, they gonna have another chance to make that playoff run in that region. It will, I think, get tougher, but they wrote some history, got it in the history books last year, and Kist is one of those places, Coach. I had an opportunity to work down there early when I first started, and it didn't matter if they were 0-10 or 5-5. Those folks on Friday night would pack that little stadium out because
Okay, well, let me ask you this: if you live in the Kinston area, other than going to the football game, what options do you have for entertainment?
you could ride about 7 miles up the road to Op and ride around Hardy's, I guess. That's about it.
Well, that's kind of what I'm saying. I mean,
But,
I guess you could go coon hunting. Uh,
yeah, go fishing
yeah,
or something.
maybe
But
go
back
maybe
at
go
that,
catch some snipe in a bag.
yeah, go snipe hunting. Uh, but yeah, back then, they had the big little store sitting there on 52. Go up there and have you a cup of coffee and a greasy egg roll or something. But yeah, and it's the only game in town, and they turn it out and they get that orange and blue, and uh, they're proud of it right there in Kinston. Now, the number one team out of that region, the Brantley Bulldogs. Seems like they're always at the number one spot every year, Coach. Why is that? Hello, Coach Ennis. Hello, hello. Well, we lost Coach Ennis. Going to see if he can get back on here with us. I think he's sitting over there in Studio Z, and don't know what happened. Uh, but we're talking about the Brantley Bulldogs. Finished 11-1, made it to the fourth round of the playoffs, and lost to eventual state champion Sweetwater. Of course, they had Trojan commit Tucker Kilcrease, quarterback, very talented quarterback, talented athlete, talented young man, and they graduated 9 seniors off that squad right there. We'll try to get Coach Ennis on the line here with his phone. Let's see what happened to him. As usual, Coach does not answer his phone. Still hadn't answered his phone. And will not answer his phone. Uh, Brantley finished 11-1. You gonna see them. Hold on, there's Coach Ennis right there. Hello.
My computer just went dead.
Okay, well that's what I was saying. That either we talking about snipe hunting, that one of them snipes got in your house and got hold of you, or you didn't pay the power bill.
We're gonna blame Stevie on being at my studio.
Well, I'm still recording right here, so you can go right there because we're just about to wrap it up. Except for a couple of things. I was talking about Brantley. The last question I asked you, and I kept going, "What you think? What you think?" The question I asked you is, "Why is Brantley so successful every year, Coach?"
To me, the biggest reason is those kids over there believe they're supposed to win, so they do. In high school football, that's a big part of being successful is believing that you're going to be successful. And those kids at Brantley, from the time they're in elementary school till they get up ready to play, all they've seen is the people in front of them win. So that's what they do.
Well, they finished made to the fourth round, lost to Sweetwater, eventual state champs. Very close ball game. They are losing Tucker Kilcrease, Mr. Everything there, played quarterback, signed with Troy. Uh, but they had an opportunity there late in the year. He was hurt, and the Parks kid had a chance to play some quarterback and got a lot of reps, and they won ball games with him there. So they're gonna have a little experience coming back at that position. It's just not like they lost, Kilcrease, and what are we gonna do? They got some experience coming back.
Well, and that's the thing. Brantley does a great job of taking these kids when they're younger and getting them experience and getting them playing time. That's one thing that people don't understand and coaches don't understand. A lot of them don't. Is that when you get an opportunity to play some of those younger players, all he's doing is getting experience for them. And there's no substitute for that. Not only that, you go back and you look at Brantley's playoffs over the last 4 or 5 years, and you see that each year they're going to the semifinals, they're going to the finals. And when you're doing that, not only are your younger kids getting experience, but think about all those extra weeks of practice that they get. You take a kid that's in the 9th grade and you go to the semifinals 2 years in a row. Now they just had another 8 weeks of practice that these other players their same age at other schools didn't get. And that's huge.
Well, I know it's benefited them there, and the tradition. It's like you said, they expect to win, and heck, when that's expected of you, you're gonna run a little faster and play a little harder and work a little harder in the weight room in the off season, and success breeds success.
Well, not only that, when you grow up in Brantley, the whole town, everybody there expects you to be successful and to win. And when you don't, they're gonna hold you accountable. And when the whole town's holding the team accountable, that's you can make pretty big strides that way.
Yeah. Well, Coach, they made a few changes this last fall for the next 2 years. That region is going to go to be Region 2. Sampson drops out of that region. They'll be moving back up to 2A, but they have it doesn't get any easier for these schools. Elba, the Tigers of Elba, will be joining that region along with Houston County. So you have Brantley, Elba, Florella, Georgiana, Houston County, Kinston, McKenzie, Pleasant Home, and Red Level. You have a 9-team region, Coach. It makes scheduling easy. But only 4 of those guys can make it to the playoffs out of those 9.
Well, I mean, you're basically what you're looking at there, Coach, is who's going to be the 3 and 4 seed.
Right.
1 and 2, I can almost guarantee you who that's going to be. I don't know which one is going to be what, nor does it matter. Because when you start putting Elba and Brantley, Coach, the one thing about that is they, as soon as that region was formed, you had a rivalry that was established right then.
Yes.
Because I guarantee you, the coaches at Elba and the coaches at Brantley and the players at Elba and the players at Brantley have been talking about that since it happened. And when those two meet in the regular season, if you don't have anywhere that you are just bound and determined to go watch, I would be at that stadium.
Yeah, be at the Elba Brantley game.
Coach, listen. I hate. I'm gonna have to miss it, but that is one that I promise you over the years is going to develop into a huge rivalry.
Well, that's going to be, like you said, 1 and 2 wherever they fall, and then you have 7 schools fighting for 2 spots.
Well, and I'm Coach. I'm just going to say this. I'm going to go out on a limb and say it right now. And when I do, Rudy's going to get mad at me and probably text me and tell me to shut up. But to me, he's as liable to be in that 3 spot ahead of anybody else on that list right there.
Yeah, if I had to look at that right there, I would. Of course, this is a wish list or a guest list. You'd have the Elba and Brantley and then top 2, and then have Kinston, and I'm gonna go with Red Level and McKenzie battling. Kinston, McKenzie, and Red Level battling for those.
Yeah, Coach, I think that's a great prediction right there. Not taking anything away from any of those other programs. I heard Shane Watson say one time that class and character will take you a long way when it starts getting tough. And I can promise you Rudy Free's team is going to have both of those.
That's right. Well, Coach, that's going to wrap up 1A football as far as the teams that we look at. We back from COVID, hopefully going to be able to continue to spit these things out at least once a week. Now, I know that you had a little accident recently?
Okay, I did. Ori, my son, was we were doing some drills in the backyard, and we were doing some tackling drills, and had some cones set up and a tackling dummy, and he just wasn't executing it the way I wanted him to. So I told him, I said, well, just get out of the way. Let me show you how to do this. And when he was doing it, he had his cleats on, and he wasn't doing bad, but, sometimes Daddy can just do it better.
Right.
So I started to make my cut, and, pine straws doesn't have a whole lot of traction.
Yeah, especially if it doesn't have any to begin with, but if it's wet, it really doesn't have any.
No, and then it'd been misting that day, and we still out there. But I hit that pine straw, and the next thing I knew, I was laying on the ground, holding my knee, and Ori, being the concerned son he was, walked over there and said, Daddy, that ain't how you want me to do it, is it?
Oh.
And but since that time, I sometimes us men, we can be a little stubborn, and I waited about a week and a half before I finally went to the doctor, and they informed me that I had a broke ankle and had a little ligament damage in my ankle, and had a little tear on my ACL and on my MCL, and so we are contemplating this demonstration of drills. I think from now on I may YouTube it.
Yeah, or not do it on pine straw.
Yeah, that may be a better option.
Well, I know. I can see Ori right now saying that to you. Just as innocent and any minute, you know.
Yeah. He wasn't real concerned about my pain level. So, but
well, have you got one of those boots on?
I do. I have to wear one of them boots, and I'm gonna tell you, I hate that thing. I've been lucky; it's been dry and not too cold up until now, and then I look outside the studio here, and it's raining, and the wind looks like it's blowing like a hurricane.
Well, so it's safe to say you won't be in any kickball tournaments anytime soon.
No, and I won't be in. No, I won't be in the kickball. I really believe that. I wish I had some exotic story like, me and the beautiful Miss Olivia took a trip to Aspen, and I got injured on a snow skiing accident, but I can't even do that.
Well, Coach, we hope you get on the mend and get all healed up so you can get back out there and show them how it's done. Well, Coach, that's gonna wrap us up, man. That's one in a row.
Hey, we got one in a row. We rolling.
Back from COVID. You don't hear a whole.
I can tell you this. If we have to stay separated, Stevie is coming to your studio. I'm tired of him kicking over stuff here.
Yeah, well, I had a chance to talk with Coach Dent from Andalusia about his baseball camp, and we got a drum set here in our studio, and I had to run him off of it the other night. And right in the middle of the interview, he wanted to start banging them cymbals, and that didn't work out well for him.
Well, we had some wrestling mats laid out here, and he put on his mask and was acting like he was wrestling and kicked over the camera, and unplugged it, and it's just a mess.
Well,
He's over at Poughton right now.
well, I may not have had a chance to talk to him much, but you know, he got a lot of Nerf guns for Christmas, and he's been going to these Nerf challenges, kind of like laser tag, except they shoot Nerf darts at each other. I think he's going somewhere around LaGrange, Georgia this weekend to participate in a Nerf tournament.
Well, I wish him well. He is. I scolded him. I had to rough talk him a little bit. He's curled up over in the corner pouting right now.
I told him he might be the oldest person there at that Nerf tournament this weekend.
I guarantee he'll be the fattest.
Oh, I told him to wear eye protection. He came out with a welder's helmet.
Yeah, bless his heart, he ain't the brightest.
Yeah.
But we love him anyway.
Yeah, that's right. Well, Coach, one in a row. Hopefully next time we'll get you a charge on your computer. We can make it the whole way. But
well, and keep Stevie from knocking the camera over.
Yeah, do that. And hopefully we can get back together for a show or two here soon.
Well, I'm looking forward to it, and you know, for both the people that's watching it, we appreciate it.
That's right. All right, Coach. Baseball season and softball's right around the corner. We'll have a lot to talk about then. We'll talk about some 2A football the next time we get together. And so we'll see you then. Let's stand for Coach Ennis, Coach Greg Ennis, for Standing the Coach.